Or the Ayahuasca, they call it the Ayahuasca. Hayak means bitter, and Huasca is vine. But also Aya is soul too, so they call it vine of the soul. Ayahuasca was born, they say, from the grave of Manco Capac. Manco Capac was the Inca founding father of the Inca people. Manco Capac and Mama Oclio were taken out of Lake Titicaca by the sun god Huiracocha. They were taken out of Lake Titicaca and they were given a rod of gold. They were told where that gold rod was placed on the ground, where it sunk straight into the ground. That's where they were to build their city. And that's where they built the city of Cusco in Peru. Manco Capac died of great age, they say at least 800 years old. And then when he died, from his grave grew two plants, the ayahuasca vine and the chacruna bush. And in a dream, he summoned his wife to come, and he arose out of the grave and told her that these plants grew from his grave. But his wife, with her goddesses, they were frightened and they left screaming. And so he summoned his disciple named Roca. And Roca came, and he taught Roca how to prepare the ayahuasca so that he could have the wisdom that he had. Don Pablo Amaringo shared this with me, that the Incas taught the ayahuasca traditions to the Hunicui, who are Amawaka as well. Hunicui, they taught the Shipibo, and then the Shipibo taught the mestizos, and then the mestizos taught the wave of foreigners coming to Iquitos area and Pucallpa. And so what we see from that is that the traditions of ayahuasca are a syncretic tradition that incorporates many different indigenous lineages and now religions too, Catholicism, and then it's branched out many, many other ways as well. And so the ayahuasca churches that unify with the Christian orientation, it's had gone through many transformations. It's a syncretic mix of many, many different traditions. It's not a pure tradition as the Sequoia tradition is. The Sequoia tradition of Yage was learned from celestial immortals, and so it comes from a very pure source. On an energetic level, the spirits of the earth make themselves apparent between sunset and midnight. Ayahuasqueros sing songs that are very melancholic as well. The celestial spirits, they descend from midnight and then or 2 or 3 in the morning. At 3 in the morning, the celestial spirits come to the ceremonial lodge and stay there till sunrise. This is why the ceremony of Yage begins at 3 in the morning when the celestial people descend. The traditions of ayahuasca began their ceremonies early on, so for the most part, the ayahuasqueros are relating to the earth spirits. The earth spirits are much quicker to learn about. It's much easier to learn how to see the earth spirits as well, the wati. The earth spirits are capricious, though. The earth spirits have two sides. The shaman masters, once they meet the celestial immortals and different legions of celestial immortals, especially the uhapai, the doctor people that are immortals that help the shamans to heal, once they meet the uhapai and different winyapai, then they can meet the wati, the different earth spirits. And then they can use the earth spirits to heal. And the earth spirits never betray the master or get the master to do harm. Meets the demon king. I write some about that in my book. The Sequoias say that the demon king looks at you in the eye, and you should look at it straight eye to eye, and it'll eye you down, and you have to eye it down, and then it eyes you up, and you have to eye it up. You can't look away if it looks at you in the eye. And there's also a time they say where the demon king will reach for your heart and grab your heart out, and you have to do the same to the demon king. It has like a hollow chest, and you yank its heart out. And when after that exchange, it gives you your heart back, and you return its heart, and then never again the demon king tries to harm the healer. The demon king will help the healer to accomplish all the healings, because all healings are related to the negative influence of spirits. Remove the the sorcery. All illnesses have a counterpart that's spiritual. So the spirit will remove the sorcery, and that will be put back, and they put it back onto themselves because that's their body's made of that. And then the person can get healed. That's how they heal like really grave illnesses that only the master shamans can heal. It's through the association with the demon king, and it's ordinance over all the spirits. Here's a story that I heard from Don Pablo Amaringo about King Lemuel. There was a spiritual master that was drinking ahead, but his student wasn't learning. Oftentimes it takes longer to have visions or longer to learn when your intentions are to meet celestial people, because you have to do much more disciplining and gain a very strong work ethic and train the body. The sky people don't come quickly like that. They're reclusive and they have no rush to meet you. They really make you work to get to where they are at. And where the stricter spirits that can come quick. And so the student got like lost a little patience with his teacher, and then heard that there's a shaman that shows like visions. The first people that show up that have tremendous visions, and they learn how to heal and do amazing things. And so he said to his master, "Can I go to drink ayahuasca?" This happened in Peru with the shaman. So he said, "Go to see and tell me what happened." So he went and he drank the ayahuasca, and he said that this master, I quickly saw, works with this very benevolent king that's draped in gold. His whole body glistens in gold, and all the patients that come to be healed, he heals and he heals them. And the king, the spiritual king, does all the healing and heals many patients. And there's lots of people that are waiting to be healed. And so he said to him, "For 1 year you can't study with me anymore until you discover who that king truly is, and then come back and tell me." The student was a little sad, but he knew that in those schools it's very strict. And so he had, there's no turning back now, so he kept drinking more ayahuasca with this shaman. And then one day he was out hunting, and night fell upon him quickly in the forest, so he decided to climb a tree. So he climbed up in a tree and he tied himself in. And not long later, after nightfall came, he heard a whole rustle coming, and with torches and lamps, and they set up not far out from the base of his tree, in perfect view actually of where he was on this branch, this whole stage with a table and torches. And then to his utter surprise, there was King Lemuel. There was the king. And the king had many other royalty and different people in all sorts of ceremonial garments and gowns. But to his shock and amazement, he couldn't believe what he saw. What he saw was the following. Before the table, many different goblins and spirits and demonettes and demons and all kinds of bad-doing, harm-doing devils were appearing before him, and they were confessing their sins. And they would tell him, one told him how he was successful, he succeeded. There was a couple, and they'd been married, and they had a baby, and they were living the perfect life. And he took it upon himself to separate them, to make them separate, and he succeeded. And he got them to separate, and he got them to start fighting, and the woman left to go live with her family and left the man. And now the man's crying, and he's begging her to come back, and now he's drinking alcohol, and he was following a spiritual path, and I got him to crumble, he was saying. And the king said, "Oh, that's good," he said, "here." And he gave him a little pet puppy dog and a pet bird, and he gave him some necklaces. And then the other guy came and said that there's this like shaman student that I'm getting to this spiritual student that I'm getting to break his dieta. He's holding good to the dieta, but I'm tricking him to break the diet. But I haven't been able to get him. He's still pretty strong. And the king said, "Well, I'm gonna just give you this little necklace. But look at this cool dog and these other gifts I have for you, and all kinds of little like weird odd pets. When you succeed in toppling him, then you get this." He's like, and he made vows. "I promise I won't stop until I succeed." Some of the bad spirits said to him that they had come and they had accomplished families to fight each other, and actually they had accomplished like a son to kill his mother. And King Lemuel jumped in joy and gave him a box of gold coins and necklaces. And then another spirit came, a trickster spirit came and said that there was this student that was studying with a master. and that he can't study with him now because he didn't have the patience. So I'm sneaking into his house, and he has a cat, and his wife loves the cat very much. And I'm making the cat jump on the table, and the wife is getting aggravated, and he's losing his temper a little bit because I possessed the cat, and I made it shit on the table. And he got aggravated, started screaming at his wife, and his wife was like, and the next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the cat shit on the table again. I'm gonna make him go crazy. I'm gonna possess him. I'm gonna make him kill the cat, and I know that's gonna cause them to separate because his wife loves his cat, and he from up in the tree couldn't believe because that was him, and exactly like what had happened. He saw the cat jump on the table and shit on the table, and he screamed at his wife, and that's one of the pillars of the tradition of the Yage and of the masters. When you study with the masters, you have to, part of the dieta is not to lose your temper, and to not get aggravated, not to get angry, to maintain an even disposition, even calm. Deep. He saw that was happening to him, and he couldn't believe it. He revealed who King Lemuel was. After a while, they all put everything away, and then they all left, and some of the spirits marched off with the table. They all picked up their belongings and the torches and all the crazy artifacts that they had, and they all marched off and left. And he waited till sunrise. He was so scared to come down. And well until the sun rose, and he came down from the tree, and he ran back to his house, and he told his wife what had happened. And they in those days, the people lived in simpler houses, so he burned his house down. And he left that area. He left far. He left to go live in a room, several days traveling from that area, and never went back to drink ayahuasca with the ayahuasquero. He waited till year passed and he returned to his master. And he told him what he saw. So here was this spirit that was showing up like a glistening king, helping only to heal this one shaman. But he had this other side to him that he was fomenting. He was like approving all the harm doings of the bad spirits. You have to be very careful when drinking the ayahuasca steady, especially if you drink like now and then, like for self-rectification and for healing, and with certain guidelines and prayers and incense smudging. Create a sacred space for none of that to happen. Those kind of things can occur. It's rare that they occur. It's not a common thing that bad spirits can take over ceremonies, but it can occur. That's why it's very important to prevent that the medicine be properly prepared, that the space be properly prepared, and that one's body be properly prepared. Use these plants for the positive, but you have to understand certain elemental guidelines. And if you follow those guidelines, then no wrong can come on the ceremony or the people drinking.